Hi, I am Milinda, Manager UI Engineering at Sysco LABS. Today I got Buddhika UI Lead, and Abhiman Ranavira, Associate Specialist from UI Engineering team. Today we are going to discuss the topic Role of Design Systems in Accelerated UI Development. Nowadays, quick UI delivery and extensibility of the designs are important factors of the fast-paced development workflow. Figuring out a system that works in this environment can be challenging. Coming up with a UI methodology and implementing it has its own challenges and pitfalls. So, before moving on to the UI methodology that we use at Sysco LABS, let's have a look at the traditional UI development approach.
Earlier we developed UIs screen by screen. A screen was considered as a single element for UI development, but there were several drawbacks on this approach. First is inconsistencies across UIs. For an example, there can be style differences for the same elements in different modules. Second is code redundancies, which is similar components, layouts can be duplicated in several screens. Third is there is no any single place to refer for standards. And the fourth is it's difficult to manage code and style changes. For an example, we might be able to change different screens to change small header style change, something like that. And the last one is it's very time consuming task.
Totally agree with that. That's why we need a more organized approach. We want to implement a set of reusable, scalable UI components for our organization. To do that, we need some sort of a discipline. A set of rules must be implemented, how things should be developed. We use style guide for that. With the style guide, we define the branding, its consistent usage, how a component or set of components look like, and their behavior in a given scenario. This is a ever-evolving, a living document where we update and refer to as we go on. Also, versioning is a very important part of a component library because it gives benefits to those who use the library. Like for example, the ability to use different versions in different projects and even upgrade in a more planned manner. Deploying this file in a way we can send this to app developers should be done in a simple and in a standard way. Once everything is ready for release, we deploy the files as an NPM module in a private or public repo. When we release your component library as an NPM module, NPM version, app developers can start using that in the configuration files. Like for example, packages. With this way, we have a more efficient and organized way of developing and deploying UI components. From an organization perspective, let's see what are the benefits and the real impact this brings.
So I see the impact mainly in two ways. So if we look from the designer's perspective, now they got the chance to look at user interfaces and break down them into smaller parts rather than looking at it as a one single entity. So this component-based mindset allows them to define and change styles easily for the components. And if they have these primary components defined early in their stages, so it allows them to take a head start in their designing, in the new UI designs or the features. And another major problem that I see designers are facing is that sometimes it's hard to maintain a shared design vision when there are multiple teams are involved in the development. So for this, if all teams are using a single component library and they are referring a single style guide, it makes it easier for the design team to have a shared design vision across the teams. I think also this will increase the communication among the teams, collaboration, and also it allows them to understand different disciplines, especially the designers and the developers. And from the developers' perspective, I think now they can build these components easily and they can maintain it using scoped styles. So when they do a change to one component, they can make sure that it won't affect the other components unless it's intended. And also it allows them to reduce the repetitive work that they have been doing when developing UIs, right? And also it will reduce the code redundancy in their code bases. So all this, I think, ultimately will help reduce the product or feature development timelines. And number two is the quality of output that we can gain by using these component libraries and style guides. With that, I think although we have a standardized design, a shared development best practices, and it enables the teams to have a consistent code base, design and brand as well. Also, with all these, I think there will be more satisfying customers and users. In addition to that, I think we have been seeing with the usage or the maturity of these component libraries and usage of these style guides, there has been a consistent reduction of the UI bugs that's involved in the system. So that I feel is a good indication that we have achieved a better quality output by using this. Also, I think with time we have seen the frequency of changes that is happening within the component libraries has been reducing. That also, which I think is an indication that we have achieved a greater consistency and fast development as well.
Is it possible to quantify this improvement?
With statistics, I think we have achieved about 60 to 70% of time saving with UI development. I think it's easier if we translate this into a larger project to assess the cost or time savings. As example, if we take a complex UI that took about 2 to 3 days of development in the past with the traditional approach, with the new component libraries, I think we can do it within few hours.
One of the main challenge when we are using component library is different teams and products use different technologies. For example, React, Angular, Vue.js, and etc. A concept like design system helps us to overcome by having a technology agnostic layer which caters different technology specific libraries. A design system is a collection of reusable components guided by clear standard that can be assembled together to build any number of applications. It has major three parts: style guide, component library, and pattern library. Style guide focus on graphical styles and their usages such as typography, iconography, colors, images, and etc. Component library is collection of components that we are using in the system. Finally, pattern library integrate functional elements and their usages. Material UI is one of the good example for design system. It's a very popular design system these days which is developed by Google. Actually, design system is not only for designers. As a team, we collaborate with different roles, managers, designers, developers, etc. It will offer us a common ground or say common language to communicate within a team. It will definitely increase the efficiency of the organization as your product evolves.
So with everything that we discussed today, I think Buddhika mentioned with the adapting of the UI component libraries, we were able to solve most of the problems that we faced in the traditional UI development approach. And also Abhiman mentioned that with this stage of design systems, we have the new challenges like how we are going to make it work with different technologies, and how we are going to resolve it by using a technology agnostic layer within the design systems. So I think with all this, it's evident that design systems plays a major role within accelerated UI development. So when the organizations align into these design systems, it will definitely bring huge long-term and short-term benefits.